Parasyte the Maxim, episode 12, Kokoro. Now, this is definitely an interesting episode, and it's fairly unfortunate because I knew Kana was going to get herself killed. Like, the whole episode, or at least, I'd say honestly, like 75% of this episode, I thought she was going to die because she was not listening at all to anything Shinichi was saying. It's like, hey, it's not exactly going to be me. He flat out tells her in this episode, like, hey, this is what's happening. Like, he actually tells her, and there's all this crap happening, and it's like she just wasn't listening, and clearly she wasn't, and that's why she got herself killed. But the entire time, I'm like, man, she's just not listening to anything he's saying. It's like, oh, but I sense you, and I know it's you, and that's wrong, because it hasn't always been her, or it hasn't always been him. And she even says herself, like, well, sometimes I'll think it's you, but it's just like a random person or something. And he'd be like, well, even if you sense it's me, don't come near me. And I think the one time I didn't think she was going to die was when she said, okay, like, okay, I'm not going to do that. And then she totally lied. And I believe that was, I think that was, she lied and then she walked outside and that's when she ran into the woman. I believe that's when that happened. But it was like, and then she lied to him completely, like, oh, but you have your own special sense, which I'm like, that's clearly BS, because the night before that, she ran into that woman. And it was because she, just didn't give a crap what he was saying. Like, be careful, it's not just going to be me. Like, don't just run into this stuff because you don't know what's happening. And it just didn't make any sense. And I believe that was before he told her, or that may have been after. Like, honestly, I can't remember. I'm trying to remember which scenes happened before, but honestly, she did like the same stuff so many different times. It's like I can't remember which scenes were before he told her and which scenes were after, because she just didn't change even after she knew the whole truth, which seemingly she doubted anyway because he actually didn't use his hand. But still, it was just like, man, she's not even remotely trying to survive at this point. And unfortunately, she does end up getting herself killed. Like, he's going about his normal life. He assumes that everything's, pretty much fine. And we find out that she actually can emit her own signal, which honestly I thought was going to go somewhere before, of course, she ended up getting killed at the end. But I was like, man, they kind of did a couple of things which I thought this could have, those things could have easily branched off into some really big parts of this series. Like, kind of obviously knowing about the parasites and everything like that. That's a pretty big deal. That could have easily transitioned into something very major down the line. Or her emitting her own signal could have done the same thing, which kind of made me wonder, like, is she somehow like a form, like a descendant of a parasite that was on Earth, like, decades ago or whatever? Like, she, they don't realize it, but somehow a parasite ended up bonding with someone else or whatever, and then she was born as like the granddaughter of a parasite or something weird like that. But it doesn't matter. She got herself killed, and the episode starts off like it did last time. She's having the dream about Shinichi. She has his hair, and she's being super weird and stalker-like, like the one guy said. I can't think of his name, but he was totally right. Like, you seem like a stalker and everything, and he was basically saying exactly what we were all saying. Like, Shinichi's just like this normal guy, and yes, she can sense him, but just because you can sense someone and that's a crazy thing, it doesn't mean you're gonna instantly like fall in love with them. And that's exactly what happened. And it was just like, man, sometimes I just wish I had the life of an anime guy, because they just have it easy. Like, anime males just seem it's just like, pff, whatever, any random thing, and the girl just likes them like crazy. It's like either that or hentai. Just like, pff, okay, they just get it like crazy. It's weird, but it just didn't make sense to me. Like, just she was kind of stalking him and stuff like that, and that's how we got her the little bit of info out of Miki, where Kana's actually emitting, her own signal, which like I said, thought that could have gone somewhere. Definitely didn't. But I don't know. It was just it was an interesting episode. I certainly enjoyed the episode, but it kind of really did make me mad. Like, it sucks that she died. Of course, that's sad. And I did like her character. I honestly thought there would be a lot more to her because of her ability. I really thought that she would go much further in the series. And I guess technically she's kind of at the halfway mark, but I didn't think she'd die in general. I thought that something would happen big with her storyline, with her being able to sense parasites and things like that. And ultimately, when she, the episode when she finally realizes what her abilities are, she's just doing stupid thing after stupid thing. Like, she's following him constantly, or at least following the signal constantly, despite what he's told her. Like, hey, even if you think it's me, that could lead you to some bad people. Even after she knew that what she was sensing were actually the parasites, which was her guess early on in the episode. And he was like, what? No, it's nothing like that. But he flat out tells her afterwards, like, this actually is the case, because it's way too dangerous for you to just be running around thinking it's me all the time, and then, you get your head chopped off or something crazy. And even after that, like, she ties his hair around a string and she leaves her phone because it's like, oh, I can find you because I can sense you and stuff. And it just made me mad. Like, it just made her character seem really dumb that she was doing stuff like that to me, because it's just dumb. Like, in all honesty, it's just stupid to do that. And it kind of made me mad that that's how she ended up dying, because she just kept doing the same thing. Like, this whole episode, she was either ignoring him or, like, before the parasite thing, even when she didn't know, well, she was still ignoring him, because he said that in the last episode, like, if you sense that it's me, you still shouldn't go near him. So be careful with that. So basically the entire episode she was ignoring his warnings, and then even after she knew the facts about what was going on, still just kept going for it, because it's like, oh, we're meant to be and stuff like that. And it just seemed so rushed, I guess, or it just seemed a bit too far, because obviously it was really clear that she had feelings for him because of the whole sensory deal. But it was just like, man, she really did seem like a stalker in this episode. It's like, we're meant to be and this and that. And it got her killed. So it kind of made me mad that that's why she died. But I figured that's what was going to happen. And of course, Shinichi is very upset by that at the end. But there are some other things outside of Kana just, dying, unfortunately, but also making me really mad. Two other really big things that happened in this episode are the fact that the parasite that was running for mayor does get elected, and there's one point in the episode where Migi asked Shinichi, I think this was like really early on in the episode, Migi asked Shinichi, like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. And Migi's like, oh, well, for some reason I felt concerned. And I was like, that's very interesting that Migi would even remotely have that sort of feeling, because it's not like they're in danger or anything. Shinichi's just sitting there thinking, but Migi felt concerned. So I thought that was very interesting. It might mean nothing. It could just, even in a critical thinking sort of sense, I could see someone still being concerned. But the fact that Migi said, I felt concerned, said a lot. And plus, Migi said for some reason. It wasn't like, oh, I felt concerned because of this specific reasoning. It was just like, I felt concerned for some reason. I was like, that's a very interesting little thing. And even Shinichi didn't really pick up on it. They kind of just had that line and then it just kept going. But I was like, that seems really important to me. Like, it could come back later. So that was a cool moment. The mayor being elected, or the parasite actually being elected to mayor, I thought that was interesting, because what I was thinking in the last episode is that the parasite had just decided to run for mayor. But I guess that wasn't the case. That's what I was thinking. But they skipped time and it was like, yep, he got elected. And I'm like, that couldn't have been like, a couple of days later. So I guess that guy was running for mayor to begin with. And then the parasite just took over their body. But what I got from the last episode was that the parasite took over that body, a while ago, and just decided to run for mayor. And I was like, that's really weird, because it seemed, they skipped time. And I'm like, and I don't know the politics of I live in America, so here are kind of political structure as far as elections and things like that generally takes quite a bit of time. It's not just like, you're in a different season from someone announcing that they're running to someone being elected. Like, you're just in a different season by the time all that stuff finishes, because it takes like about 6 months, because it starts off with a bunch of people and then it gets down to the last two when they do all the campaigning and this and that and have like a billion different debates and all that crap. And that's just for mayoral stuff. Like, presidential stuff is like a full-on year where people talk about that before anything is actually even happening. So it was just interesting when that happened. I was like, I thought they just started doing that, but it was something that caught my eye because I was like, oh, they skipped time, but seemingly nothing has changed. It seemed they did it like, yep, he's mayor now, and it made it seem like it was a couple of days later or something like that. Even if it was a couple of weeks, I was like, that seemed incredibly fast because I thought that he was just starting to run. And once again, I don't know the whole mayoral stuff or elections and things like that in Japan, so maybe it is super fast there. I have no idea, but I was like, that seemed like it was basically a week, but I was looking at it from an American standpoint where it takes months before, from announcement to actual election and stuff. I was like, there should be some huge differences and things that are going on around them, but I don't know. I guess that's just, maybe it was something I missed in the last episode, but that was something I definitely picked up on, like, that seemed super, super quick. But the Parasyte is officially mayor. As Migi says, that could be okay if they're actually trying to blend into society. Still iffy on that. I highly doubt it because of the last episode and the whole Yakuza thing where they're testing it out and just killing a bunch of people. So, still very iffy on that. I don't really know. They didn't focus on it too much. It was really a kind of episode. So, yeah, obviously about her because she ends up dying. But I certainly enjoyed this one. I think it was a good episode, but it just kind of made me mad the whole time. And honestly, I do wish that she survived. I was hoping, I figured she would die. I was like, like the whole episode, like I said, I was like, she's going to get herself killed because she's not listening to anything he's saying. She knows the facts now, still not listening. Even like when she was at home, just sitting in bed. And it's like, oh, I sent something. And she put her clothes on and walked outside in the middle of the night and ran into a woman. I thought she was going to get killed right there, but I guess that doesn't really make any sense because the parasites are trying to blend in. But I don't know. It's just like, man, she's going to get herself killed. I thought she was going to get killed running away in that scene, but she ends up getting killed running away in the end of the episode. But it was really good. It was still a good episode despite the way that it just happened. Like, it just seemed like she was just being stupid. And she was, admittedly. But she didn't seem like she was a stupid character. Just what she kept doing in this one episode. Like, every other episode, it was like, little mistakes and stuff like that. Like, she didn't know that what she was sensing was just parasites in general. She thought it was Shinichi. And then, this is kind of, I guess this is officially the episode where she realized that she's sensing all the parasites, but still, it was just like, man, she's just doing dumb stuff, and it just made me mad that it just kept repeating over and over again. She's doing the same thing, and just walking out, and it's like, you know what's happening, just don't do that. Like, there's, people just dying all over the place. The fact that she mentioned the parasite thing, I thought was also very interesting, because I didn't think that they were using the actual term parasite. I knew, because obviously they have the hair pulling thing now, but I didn't think they flat out put the term out there, like, parasites are out in the world and stuff like that. And I'm still wondering a little bit how they put that out into the world, because it's like, you gotta come up with something pretty good to be like, yeah, start plucking people's hair and stuff. Like, I don't know. I assume they have to go with virus. Like, I mean, parasites obviously work with viruses, but I just thought that was really weird. Like, like, I don't know if it's like, because she used, like I said, she used the term parasite, so of course, if I say that, I know what the parasites really are, but if she says it, it could still just be like, oh, it's just a parasitic virus, they call it a parasite, but they just think it's like a really deadly bug or something like that, and you shouldn't be near those people, but obviously it's a bit more than that, but I don't know, like, it was just, I still like the episode, but I just hate everything. I just hate how they did it with Kana, where it's like she seemed to leap like crazy as far as how much she cared about Shinichi and how much she really wanted to be with him and stuff, and the constant ignoring of advice and just clear logic. So that did make me mad. I will say though, in the scene when she died, when Shinichi got mad, that was probably the coolest thing he's done in this entire series. Because he tells me, like, you handle the defense, and he just goes in and just, like, rips through and just, pierces through and grabs its heart and slams it through the wall, and he just has its heart in his hand and just, like, drops it on the ground, I guess. I can't really remember what he did. I don't think he crushed it. I think he just dropped it. But that was pretty crazy. I was like, that was a really sweet scene, to be totally honest. I also thought for a split second when he was looking at her, when he was looking at Kana, I was like, is he gonna have Migi try to heal her like Migi healed him? And I thought that would have been really awesome, but unfortunately that didn't happen either. So yeah, it kind of sucks. I'm sure it would have to be really weird for that to happen anyway because of all the logical stuff going on through Migi's head. I just don't see how that could have worked anyway, but I don't know. It was interesting for sure. But, we have it, of course, at the end where he goes past the cops and everything. So they're going to be getting a lot closer to him because they have the whole thing where it's like, oh, maybe the parasites had a falling out or, something weird's happening. But, of course, the parasite that Shinichi killed was, its heart was ripped out and it was thrown into a wall and it broke through the wall. So they're definitely getting closer to him. And I don't know. We'll see how that happens. And of course, we have the ending where he ends up like beating up the guy that used to be with Kana, and he talks about how he knows he's not human anymore. And then he freaks out and like he's hitting his head on the tree and everything, so he's bleeding. And I thought it was a pretty cool ending. And he's somehow how his blood, at least his blood is still red, so he's at least still somewhat human for now. So I don't know where things are gonna go. I'm still waiting for his friend to come back in and be like, hey, paint thinner. But I don't know when that's going to... I still feel like that's something that should already happen because it's such a big deal. Like, that's a huge defense against them. So, I don't know. And I feel like it easily could have come up because, of course, her brother is involved with the whole thing. And, of course, she knows for sure. And so that's why I'm really surprised that they haven't done any sort of focus on her because she easily could have told her brother like this is exactly what happened, and then it's like, hey, we have this whole new defense against the parasites, but seemingly there's still nothing whatsoever. And I wonder how that would actually affect Shinichi now that I think about it. If Migi was asleep, would it still affect Migi, or would Migi have to be awake for to be affected by the paint thinner? But either way, I'm looking forward to this next episode for sure. I think, considering he killed the person, or he killed the parasite that actually killed Kana, we aren't going to have sort of the thing with his mother where he's trying to get revenge and stuff like that. But, there's a lot. A character died, and he feels responsible. So, there's going to be something there, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. We still have to get whatever sort of crazy background stories happening with all these parasites blending into society and being mayors, and we still haven't seen the teacher Ryoko in a while, if that's her name, if I'm remembering right. We haven't seen her in quite a while, and so I assume next time she comes in, she's gonna be like ready to pop and give birth to this baby. So kind of looking forward to her coming back in fairly soon. But I definitely want to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and I want to know what you guys think of Kana's death. Do you think that it was too early? Do you think it was stupid because of just the way she was acting in this episode, like just doing the same thing over and over again? Are you glad she's gone because of... I personally, this episode was the only thing that made me not like her character. Like every other time I saw her, I was like, okay, I like her as a character. Just because of, what it could lead to, and now it's kind of just like, she was just dumb in this episode and made me mad, and then she died, and it's like, crap, it just ended her character, for me personally, on a sour note. But I definitely know what you guys want to think about her death, and her character in general, if you even liked her to begin with, or if you thought maybe somehow she would end up with Shinichi. I never thought that was going to happen, personally. I figured Murano was going to be the only person, and Kana would just be in the background, kind of like she was in this episode, where she'd want to be with Shinichi, but he wants to be with the person he's always had feelings for. And I figured that's how it was going to go. I just didn't think that it was going to be set in stone, like, well, this other person's dead now, so there's no possible way. But I don't know what you guys think about her character and her death and everything like that, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.